Trump has said that he signed a peace deal with Iran, and President Donald Trump has said that the Middle East will never be the same. We just had an incredible show of patriotism in the United States Capitol with the UFC fights and many more. But more than anything, the Disclosure Day movie has come out, and many of you have been waiting for our response. We're going to give a detailed breakdown of the movie, what it means for you, and what it means for this entire disclosure narrative. Tonight's going to be a very important show. Hit the like button. Go ahead and share it. Let's get into it. It's going to be great. Come on.
In the name of Jesus, you with me? Let's go!
You're watching The Big Picture.
All right, welcome in tonight. Let's go ahead and bring the Queen in right now. Here she is, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. She's in the house. The Queen is in the house. What's up?
It's great to be back.
It is. I think we say this every week. What a crazy week. We always have a crazy week here in the Ragland
and it's
home.
always true.
And it's always true.
And it's good to see all our friends coming in. And
Yes.
you guys have been talking to each other. We love that.
Yep. So if you're brand new to our channel, come on, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
And hey, and if by the end of the channel, if you don't like it, just unsubscribe. But just go ahead and knock it out right now. Now let's go ahead and say this up front right now, Sandy. We are going to cover some breaking news items at the beginning, like we normally do. We're going to talk about this deal that President Donald Trump has. Basically, he's at the G7 right now, but he's saying at the G7 that he has already signed this deal with Iran, that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be open. There's a little discrepancy here on whether Iran will ever be able to charge a toll or not. He is saying they will not. Now they're coming out saying in about 6 months or something like that, they're going to start being able to charge a toll. I don't know. We're going to cover that.
Right.
But then we're going to get into this movie. So,
nobody wants to talk about this
movie.
Yeah,
they do. Delane's in the house.
You guys don't want to talk about this movie.
Delane, do not give away any spoilers. You were with us. Do not. And I'm asking the live chat to not really talk that much about the movie if you've seen it until we get to the end, because there's a lot of people that want to see it and they don't want it to be spoiled. And so
we'll give them the chance to jump out.
Here's what you're going to see.
Not going to ruin it for you. We'll let you know in plenty of time so you can exit.
Look at the screen. So this is what I've put together.
There you go.
Spoilers coming, and that's going to happen right before we get into it. So you're going to be able to have we're going to give you plenty of time to let you know that if you don't want to know some of the detailed breakdown of it, then you can jump out, come back to the show and watch our review of it after you've seen the movie.
I will say one quick thing. I've only seen the movie twice. So I know some of you have seen it that many times or more, probably.
Let me give you a preview of what she's talking about.
Okay.
This was the first time we saw it. This is the digital copy of her handwritten notes, y'all, from the first time that we went to see it for research purposes.
30 pages.
Yeah.
Not a full-size notebook. What do you call that size? It's
I don't know. Oh, somebody said they're in chapter 11 of our book and they love it.
Wonderful.
Lisa, thank you
so
much.
Lisa.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So we're going to get into that, but we got to get into breaking news first, because that's what we always do here on the program. And some sad news to report. 8 crew members are now confirmed dead, according to CNN, after a B-52 bomber crashes at California's Edwards Air Force Base shortly after takeoff. It says the B-52 Stratofortress was on a routine test mission that took off at 11:20 a.m. local time in the remote air base. Officials said it is now considered a recovery operation. Quote, "It was tragic and unsurvivable," Colonel James Hayes said at a news conference. Emergency crews responded immediately to the crash involving the bomber, which left a towering black plume in its wake. Teams are working to notify families about the deaths of the next several hours. The crew was a mix of military officials, government civilians, and government contractors, which is very interesting makeup on a B-52 bomber. But the B-52 bomber that crashed Monday was performing a test supporting the radar modernization program. The base's runway was left with a large blackened scar on the sandy runway, as well as some residual smoke, but it was difficult to make out any distinct parts of the wreckage. The base has been reopened, though officials are standing down on operations through Tuesday. The B-52 is one of America's oldest aircraft, first entering service in 1955. The long-range heavy bomber, which typically carries a crew of 5, can carry as much as 70,000 pounds of bombs and other munition. The currently flown version still plays a major role in the Air Force's arsenal, which includes 76 of the aircraft it was used in bombing missions during the current conflict between U.S. and Iran. Before Monday's crash, the most recent fatal accident involving the aircraft was in 2008, when 6 Air Force personnel were killed after their B-52 crashed in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Guam while preparing for a parade flyover. The Boeing-made bomber has not been in production since 1962, though several life extension initiatives have modernized the airframe and kept it flying. Because the aircraft is no longer in production, any replacements must be sourced from dismantled airframes stored at the so-called boneyard at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Arizona, as was done after a non-fatal 2016 crash that destroyed in Guam. So it's very, very sad news. It's just broke right before we come on.
Multiple interesting comments in chat. Someone saying their husband worked on that type of aircraft. Someone said there was nothing left.
Yeah, you look at the picture there.
Let's see that.
I mean, it's just, let's see if this
reminds me of yesterday's crash of the
out of Southern California, where
Edwards the 12 Air Force that died. That there was nothing. I mean, it looked like nothing on the ground left of the crash.
Yeah, so something like this, you would think this was very serious. You know, a lot of speed and or
force,
maybe
everything. Yeah.
Maybe there was actual munitions on there that exploded.
Space is confirming the crash of a B-52 bomber shortly after takeoff today. A B-52 has a wingspan of about 185 feet, typically carries a crew of 5. B-52s have been flown by the U.S. military since the 19.
So yeah, our prayers go out to the families of those lost soldiers.
Wingspan 185 feet. That's
pretty big.
That's pretty wide there.
The interesting thing is that it says the crew was a mix of military officials, government civilians, and government contractors. You know, you don't want to play too much into things, but nowadays that just sort of stands out.
Listen, we're still in the midst of what is the number 15 missing, or
the scientists and all that. Yeah,
all of these that were probably former military, government contractors, a mix of, different backgrounds. It was men and women. They all seem to be working around the same or similar technologies.
Yeah.
And so, when you say military and private contractors, that kind of raises some eyebrows.
It does. And of course, the fact that we are currently in a war and, your mind goes to suspicions of anything that happens like that. It could be just an absolute accident. We understand that. Right. But your mind has to go to, was there sabotage? Was there any foul play involved? Being that it is, some of the actual planes that was used to go in and I think take out the nuclear plants in that first operation. But moving on, we pray for the families there.
Pray for them.
In a much lighter note, and depending on how you feel about this is a big weekend in Washington, D.C. President Trump, UFC boss Dana White staged epic Oval Office walkout to what is known as Freedom 250. Let's not forget, this is our 250th birthday. President Donald Trump and UFC chief Dana White staged an epic entrance during the famed Oval Office of the White House. Thank you for that super chat.
Thanks, Nancy.
To UFC Freedom 250 on Sunday night to kick off the big event. And this is a little bit of the walkout. So that's a little bit of there. This is when he comes out to the crowd. Dana White's probably thinking, what in the world? How did I get here?
Somebody get my picture, quick.
Look at this, y'all. It's very patriotic. I mean, regardless how you feel. I mean, you can't, if you don't think that that's patriotic, then something's wrong. That's all I'm going to say. If you think that's an abomination, did you forget what happened a couple of years ago during the month of June?
No, I
right
didn't
there
forget.
in that very spot.
Sure
Let's
didn't.
just remember that. And then this was the epic national anthem. I just feel like we just need to do the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes
That's pretty epic right there. That they're watching it on the ships.
Bring back some national pride, please.
Have you seen the planes come in yet? All right, get ready.
Bring it. Let's go.
Here it goes. Woo, I got chills right now, y'all. I love America. Here they come.
Look at me. He said USA, USA, USA. Woo! America! Woo! Come on.
He's like a kid.
He liked it.
America, baby.
America!
America!
Woo!
Come on, y'all.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say
go ahead.
To BP, sir, wow. Keep up the work. You are tearing it up.
He really is.
Woo!
He's on the front lines, y'all. So yeah, let us know what you think about the fact that there was a UFC fight. Dana White said one off, never again. He said, he's the owner. I think he's the owner of it, or the CEO of it, obviously. But he said, that's it. We're not coming back. We're not doing this again. It's a one-off. This is for the 250th birthday of our country. And look, here's the bottom line. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on here, but regardless of where you are on each side of the aisle, even where you are on President Donald Trump, if you are not, that just doesn't do something to you. When those planes went over with that, then y'all, I don't even know what to say to you. And for those that are like, oh, you're just a nationalist and you put before God. Are you kidding me? All we talk about is God here, okay? But we love America.
How about let's just come together on, we got a great country, love your country, appreciate your country. Just take a moment and have some pride.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
We're having a big birthday coming up, and let's just calm down for a minute and come together just for a little while over that.
And how about your right to protest and all that? Go try that in some other countries.
Yeah.
The country that you say you hate so much, that's the worst country in the world. Yeah. Go try in some of these other countries, like what we're about to talk about right now, and get out on the street and just protest how much you hate your country. See how that works out for you. All right. Speaking of other countries that people went out on the street, quite frankly, to protest the government, and they were unalive. They were taken out. I mean, some numbers of 40 to 50,000 were literally gunned down in the streets simply for trying to say they want freedom of speech. They shut the internet off and all this. So, of course, we're talking about Iran. So we in the middle of the war in Iran, gas prices are going up, all this kind of stuff. We've had the whole thing about the Strait of Hormuz. We've had the whole thing, the red line has been no nuclear weapons. There will be no nuclear Iran. Yes. Well, this is just came down this weekend. So let's just break it down a little bit. Trump, Vance, and Speaker of Iranian Parliament, according to this, have officially signed a peace memo. Now, we've yet to still see this dude alive in person. They say that he's negotiating, that he's still alive. We've still never seen him. The U.S. and Iran have reportedly already signed a memorandum of understanding announced by Trump last month after the deal was completed on yesterday. Talks got derailed last week by fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, which led to the U.S. and Iran trading strikes again. Israel attacked Hezbollah in Beirut again this weekend, leading to sharp blowback from President Trump, who had a profane response for Netanyahu. Israeli newspaper Haaretz notes, quote, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, rather transparent attempt to delay the signing of the agreement of the Gulf was not really successful. It further notes the prime minister's transparent attempt. Okay. Now, the deal that has been signed after Trump prevented the Iranians from retaliating and got Israel to lay down its arms. Quote, a senior American official in a briefing to reporters, we signed a memorandum of understanding with Iran. President Trump and Vice President Vance signed it. The Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Kalibaf, also signed it. He added, Trump and Vance both electronically signed the MOU with Iran. The agreement is no longer contingent on Israel withdrawing from South Lebanon, he said. Israel has a right to defend itself against Hezbollah attacks, according to U.S. officials. The completed memorandum was announced by President Trump and Pakistani Prime Minister on Sunday afternoon. Trump said in a statement yesterday, I hereby fully authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz and simultaneously herewith authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of the world, start your engines, let the oil flow, end quote. An official signing ceremony is scheduled to be held this Friday in all places, Switzerland.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it a little bit here. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it.
What
here.
angle do you want to come from?
I don't know. I don't know if I got an angle.
Yeah. So obviously, I listen to some people that are like, there's no talks, there's no agreement. This war is going to go on and on and on. They're supposed to go stay there. You worry about the Trump, Netanyahu, USA, Israel angle of it. But I don't know how justice ever comes for those poor innocent Iranian people who were massacred, basically.
Right.
I don't know how you ever right that wrong, and that's just one part of this whole mess.
Well, one of the things that people were hoping for was regime change, and that it would go to more of a moderate form of Islam. The radicals are still involved, but the spin is that technically it is a regime change because the first, second, and third layers were all taken out. But the fact that the IRGC is still in play, as you said, most people believe that once this dies down, the smoke clears, and people go on about their life, that some of the protesters are going to be, that are still alive, are going to be dealt with. Because they, dictators do not put up with people running their mouth about them. And we know that. So let's continue here. Trump at the G7. He is now at the G7. And by the way, let me just say this. I give credit to Donald Trump. I mean, the reality is this. Let me just say this right now. Even though we're sitting here saying we don't know how this will hold, because we know at the heart of the Iranian extreme regime is that they love the fighting, and it's not that they're just going to walk away from the fighting, and they hate Israel at its core. They've made that very clear. But I will say that no one's ever done what he's done. He went in there. Everybody's always talked about it. He went in there, and whatever you think about what he actually did, and whatever you think about the result that actually happened, if he is able, and I want to say this, if he is actually able to remove their enhanced, enriched uranium, am I saying that right?
And
yes. and dismantle their nuclear desires, and you have people to come in and legitimately inspect it, I would say that that's a major thing. And the Strait of Hormuz is opened again, oil comes down and all this, and the fact that the military's been dismantled and they cannot support the proxy terrorists the way they have before, you have to step back and say, okay, everybody's always talked about it, but only one's done anything. So I have to give him credit on that.
I will say right now where we live that gas is $3.69 a gallon. That's down from $4.19 2 weeks ago or less. I'm sure, I hope that you guys are experiencing, lowering of prices, and that is some relief. Maybe there will be more. I heard it'll be September before you feel any more real relief. I don't know if that's the case, but that's only one component.
It's only one
of this whole entire situation.
Yeah.
But I hope it is some help it's some help for us.
Yeah.
And I know others are struggling.
But I think
we are.
what you're trying to say too, and I agree with it, is that we're talking about human lives here in comparison to, I know everybody's struggling with gas prices, but that doesn't compare to human lives.
It does not. And we're already in this. Let's, and the president has, wanted to he's had a consistent push towards trying to get where he wants to get. Supposedly we have a deal. I hope it's true.
And you know what? We might on our end, but I think most people in the live chat I'm seeing over there probably agree with the majority of people that it will be shocking if it holds on the Iranian side and the whole Middle Eastern side, because this is a war, y'all, that's been going on for thousands of years. And it's just almost impossible to fix that in one war. All right, so let's go back to this. Trump is at the G7. Iran deal will bring a lot of success, he's saying, to the world. Demining process underway. Strait of Hormuz to finally open completely on Friday. He's in France now. President Donald Trump told reporters that the Iran deal will ensure Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, will bring, quote, a lot of success to the world. Strait of Hormuz will be fully reopened on Friday as the demining process is underway.
So 4 days from now?
4 days from now.
If that happens.
Came during a bilateral meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron at the G7 in Evian. The deal's all signed and the strait is already partially open. As you know, they're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found, but essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday, it will be completely opened. Let's watch this little video. He's probably going to say the same thing.
Emmanuel has been a special friend of mine. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've worked on many deals together. I'm very happy to
fantastic relationship.
I don't remember that.
We're signed. The deal's all signed. And the strait is already partially opened. As you know, they're doing a little hunting for a couple of mines that they've already found. But it's essentially ships are starting to go out now. On Friday, it'll be completely opened. We got along very well with Iran. It's a different set of leaders. As you know, the first set is gone. The second set is gone. And we found the third set to be very smart, strong, very smart, but we ended up making a deal. I felt badly that we had to go back on the attack for 2 nights, and I thought a third, but we made it before that happened. But I think a lot of great things are going to happen in the Middle East right now, and very importantly, the oil is plummeting down, and the stock market is shooting up like a rocket today, like record kind of numbers. And the oil has taken its biggest plunge, and we're into the low numbers, not quite back yet, Kevin, to the extent, but we're getting close to the numbers we were before it all started. And the main thing is that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. They fully agreed to that with strong policing powers, and they won't have a nuclear weapon, which is what it was all about. Because,
in my opinion, if that happens,
right,
that will be a shocker to me.
Listening to him say that, they've agreed, they will not. I mean,
that's just
unbelievable.
Surreal to hear that.
So surreal.
Because you're just thinking to yourself, there's no way they would have agreed to that. Because that was their card. That was their ace.
That's the hill they're going to die on, right?
Literally.
So, I wonder how long we have to wait to see if this is all really, really true and really real.
Let's just hope and pray. Can we pray? Can we just hope and pray that it will hold? If you come in late now, we want to go and get you saw it on the thumbnail, you saw it on the title. We're going through just not much longer now. We're going to talk a little bit more about this deal and a couple other news items. And then we're going straight into the Disclosure Day movie review.
So go ahead and get your popcorn and go to the restroom.
Get your popcorn, get ready. Now, when we get close to it and we're getting ready to, you'll see this pop up on the screen. Spoilers coming, meaning that we're going to break down what we've seen. We've seen the movie twice. Once just me and her, research purposes only. Then we went with friends and actually watched the movie.
Yes.
But we'll give you a heads up.
While you're out,
I might flash it like that,
Get me a drink while you're out because I forgot to bring water in here when we started this show.
So we'll give you the breakdown, and let me tell you, there's a lot to break down. Believe it or not, compared to what you've seen on other channels where they say this is a boring movie, it wasn't the greatest movie in the world.
No.
I'll go ahead and say that right now.
Let's just go ahead and mention that we talked about last week. This is not going to be the biggest movie of all time.
No.
Probably won't be a blockbuster or even a big movie. So we're going to get into it.
But that ain't why it was made.
Not why it's made.
So we're going to get into that in just a moment. So just let you know that we will give you a heads up on that. But let me give you a heads up on this. If you ain't got your book yet, why have you not got your Final Flood yet? Come on, thefinalflood.com, thefinalflood.com. Go get the book. It's made its way back up to a #1 new release. So that's amazing to me that, after all this time, it's been out since April. You've went out there and bought it, and it's gone back up to one of the #1 new releases. So I'm very excited and honored by that. I give God the praise for that. And I just thank all the Big Picture family for making that happen. We got over almost 250 5-star reviews out there already. Just keep them coming, because that's what's putting them in front of people. I believe this is a weapon in your arsenal to equip you for what is going on in our world right now. So you can get it at thefinalflood.com, thefinalflood.com, and it is linked directly down below where you can get it. Let's get back into it. Got a couple more things to cover, and then we're going straight into Supernatural AI Update tonight, which will deal almost exclusively with disclosure. But I do have to say this. On top of the UFC fight, President Donald Trump came out and said the 250th birthday in America is going to have the largest fireworks in history. Now, what in the world? Is that world history? Okay, here we go.
I wonder what the Chinese have to say about
exactly. That. On July 4th, the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument in beautiful and safe Washington, D.C. are going to host the most spectacular Trump rally of them all. A tribute to America, Trump said, previewing the massive event, which is scheduled 7 p.m. Eastern. The huge celebration will honor our country's people, spirit, strength, resolve, and triumphs. With the backdrop of the Lincoln Memorial and surrounding this beautifully new reflecting pool, more than 300 members of our strong and talented military bands, orchestras, ceremonial units will perform patriotic melodies and American classics. And my playlist will have none of those people that put you to sleep and constantly complain. As we celebrate our country and rally for the next 250 years, Trump described the ensemble as the largest formation of joint military music and ceremonial performances in history. Trump also previewed flyovers and air shows featuring top military pilots and equipment. Further, the commander-in-chief said he will deliver keynote remarks. The tribute will conclude with a massive fireworks display unlike any other. The president added, to conclude the program and commemorate the historic occasion, I will be launching what will be the largest fireworks show in history right here on our nation's capital. Don't miss it. See you on July 4th in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
All right. So tell us in the comments and the live chat, what are you doing for the 4th of July? Are you not doing anything? Is it nothing to you? Please let it be something. I mean, at least teach your children that, this with 250 years.
Absolutely.
Come on. I tell you, in all the problems that America has, there's still no country like America.
That's right.
I truly believe
we need to appreciate our country.
We need to appreciate our country. All right, y'all, here we go. I think we just go ahead and go there.
The Supernatural AI Update. Brought to you by Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy! It's the Supernatural AI Update. All right, before we get into the movie, and like I said, right when we get started, you'll get a flashing sign, spoilers coming. I want to give you plenty of time. We will talk vague about it at first, and just sort of give you a vague opinion of what we thought of the movie, which will not include spoilers. So we got to be very careful until you hear me say it's time to break it down. We're going to speak vaguely for people to just sort of get an idea of what we thought of it. And then we're going to break it down. But before we do that, let's just cover a couple of Supernatural AI update stories. This was sent to me today. Humanoid warbot live fires mortars at Vegas test range.
I think I know who sent you that.
Yes, you did. So here we go, Law. Look at this, y'all.
All right, you good? All right, you guys ready back there? Yes, sir. Wait.
This is encouraging.
Wait.
How do y'all feel about that after you saw that one kick the kid in the stomach last week?
And look, they're got handguns. They're at the test range, y'all. They're doing every kind of weapon. These are not people in a costume.
Did we not drive right by that? That's the Nevada test range.
Yeah, it says Vegas test range.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's the one we drove by or not.
Well, we were on the extraterrestrial highway, and I saw a sign that said something test range out there. So anyway.
Well, to better understand, let's read this right here. Phantom MK1. Thank you for that super chat, by the way.
Thank you.
To better understand the foundation's position, let's see. It says we reached out for comment. The U.S. military has backed Foundation in over $73 million of grants. This is a company that makes these robots and contracts to develop their robot to this point. Although many of the use cases they've worked on have been logistic focused, the ultimate goal has always been kinetic use cases. Although drones and UGVs have been promising new robots on the Ukrainian battlefield, humanoids are the only robot being built that promises to interact with the entire fleet and arsenal of human weapons and vehicles. Launching mortars and soon breaching doors have become near-term proofs of humanoids moving from logistics to kinetic engagements.
Look at CVN 65. He said those robots you showed are the first-gen models. We have more advanced models already.
Yeah, I agree.
Between that and the AI commanders,
yeah.
Wow.
All right, so a little bit more UFO news here. This is David Grush came on this weekend just after the one that we covered live here, where he had this on the steps of the Capitol. He came on to their big weekend show and had some very interesting things to say.
Is UAP whistleblower and former Air Force intelligence officer David Grush. David, I'm bought into this. I watched The Age of Disclosure. I can't wait to watch Disclosure Day on Monday. I'm going to go see it by myself. I am that into it, okay? I know that you are a whistleblower on this, and you're very passionate about this, and for good reason. My question is, these files that are being dropped, how confident are you that this administration is going to give us all the information, maybe that you're privy to or that you suspect? Do you think we're going to get the real answers on the UAP, UFO, alien activity?
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. I believe the presser we did earlier this week was helping drive that impetus so the administration does release those files. I know Mr. Stephen Miller is very serious about getting to the bottom of this for the president, and certainly the president was briefed on a lot of these matters his first term as well. So certainly seeing good signs. Very interesting files that were released the other day through the third drop. But it's really up to the administration and the cabinet to release a lot of the information I was exposed to. You know, they have the keys to the car, so to speak.
You know, David, Lisa Booth here. A lot of times these sightings end up having ordinary explanations. Tell us about some that you've seen that defy the ordinary.
Yeah, certainly some of them are ordinary, and some of them end up being, foreign programs and our own blue programs. Seen a lot of different interesting anomalous videos where we had, orbs cooler than background temperature moving at 400 knots, things like that. Certainly, like I said in my presser on Tuesday, I did get access to crash retrieval photos and everything, so I've seen the recovered vehicles and everything. So I would say that's probably the most stupendous thing, earth-shattering thing that changed my worldview when I got access to some of that years ago. And I do hope the administration, and I think they will, release that information in a further drop.
David, I gotta just jump in real quick there and give you a chance to talk about these crash site vehicles, because you got the hair on my wrist standing up. Just real quickly, I don't want to filibuster Joey here, but I'm very into this.
You got it.
Tell me about these crash sites that you've seen personally.
Yeah, a lot of them looked like what we saw. Some of the reporting dropped on Friday. There was a 1948 memo from the Chief of Naval Operations that discussed the flying disc pandemic that they were having, and they were enlisting help of the Air Force Intelligence Service. A lot of it was lenticular discs. Some was crescent moon shaped. I call it the flattened sunfish. There's a bunch of different morphologies that the U.S. government has recovered, from eggs to discs. To crescent moon, boomerang type vehicles, and I got a small smattering sample of that of ones that have landed or crashed on the surface of the earth.
David, I hate to bring us back down the.
So he goes in. Joey Jones goes into asking about the budget and things like that.
Right.
But how interesting that he's saying that he either saw the photos or interviewed people, and he starts describing all the different shapes and sizes, boomerangs. He didn't really say anything about a triangle, but he said eggs, all this kind of stuff. I mean, so before we get into the movie, I mean, what do you think about? And it's very interesting too. We're going to come back to David Grush when we start breaking down the movie too. But what do you think about Grush? Do you think, because he's really the one that when he came out, it just lit a fire. And I think he was the first wave of government disclosure, and he seems like he's still the guy that's pushing the needle.
I question everybody between him and Elizondo. I definitely lean more towards him being the genuine object. But yeah, the government, they can be really crafty, for so long.
Yeah.
You were crazy if you said you saw anything. So it was just deny, lie. But then at some point, even in the movies, they started turning it up and showing more in the movies, which is, if you pay attention, you can learn a lot from the movies.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the line, the government decided that they will allow more to start coming out. And go back, what do you think, 4 or 5 years ago, when this part of the whole experiment or agenda started taking shape, you had these whistleblowers, you had the testimony.
Yeah, I think he came out 23, didn't he? Wasn't it 23 when he had the hearing, when he came and spoke at the hearing?
I'm thinking 3, 4, 5 years.
I think it's 23.
It may have been 23, but we've been getting more every year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now it's down to more every week as far as what's coming out. But there again, can you believe it? Can you trust it?
Right.
Sure, we're being privy to more information, but is he controlled? Is he part of the machine? Some people like Timothy Alberino, I think, really lean in to him and Elizondo and think that they are legitimate. Yeah, they could be.
He seems legitimate.
They could be controlled. Yeah. They could be following a narrative, a script they've been given. And that's just how I feel.
So he first spoke to Congress in July 2023 for the Oversight Committee. All right, so let's continue.
But he had been out there for some time before that.
Yeah, he had already done an interview with News Nation.
It took a while for those hearings to take shape.
But that's when it really began. That's when that's when Steven Spielberg said he started writing the script.
Okay.
When he saw David Grush and he saw that hearing in 2023.
So Grush was an inspiration to his film?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I'm sure we'll talk more about that.
All right, one more thing, couple more things real quick, and then we'll get into the movie. So no spoilers yet. But how interesting that the movie comes out, and on the day that the movie comes out, the third batch of videos and files are dropped.
I've heard multiple people call this a tranche. The third tranche of documents.
All right, so
should we start saying that as well?
No, I'm gonna call it batch. So this was referring to that. Secret NASA audio captures alien base comment during moon mission debrief. And I'm going to play the video. I'm going to play the audio here, and then we'll comment on it. So this was a part of, and this was classified, and it was declassified in the third. There it is, tranche. As you are speaking, there it is, right in front of me. So let's listen.
Well, we were fortunate. Also, the near side of the moon. Does the gravity profile have any? Can you correlate? I've looked at the gravity profile, and it doesn't seem to correlate at all.
We don't.
Actually, the laser data correlates better with. There's no gravity on the backside. Okay, but on the front side.
Understand.
It correlates pretty well with the laser data, which shows great big hole here in the backside of the moon around Fendigraph. And that's where we get our big hole, but I can't see any scientific justification for connecting the two results.
I will add, let's remind you, the gamma ray
that's
secondary peak is also at Fendigraph. I don't know what it means.
Could be an alien star base or something. I don't know. Anyway, the next slide shows the.
What year was that from?
This was 1972. Apollo 16, April 16th to April 27th, 1972. And this was the debriefing afterwards.
Does it say whose voice that is? Is that astronaut John Young speaking?
It says, let's see.
I can't read that teleprompter. It's so small.
Let me see. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. How very interesting, right?
And what's interesting is, people are saying, Roland that's saying that he was just being funny. But why was it never revealed until now, even if he was just being funny? It's suspicious to me that they would not even allow that funny remark to be out there. Right. And it took all of this to get there. All right. So
53 years. You said 73?
Yep. Are you ready?
I'm ready. How about you guys? Should we take a poll? Is everyone ready?
All right. So look, once again, if you're coming in late, if you have seen the movie, then you're going to want to stay with us. If you have not seen the movie and you don't care to see the movie and you're not planning on going to see the movie, stay with us as well. But if you are going to go to see the movie and you don't want any spoilers, spoiler alert, spoiler alert,
you
spoiler
should have
alert.
a little alarm.
I do have it, I think.
There you go.
Spoiler alert. So what that means is we're going to give you our breakdown on some of the things that happened in the movie. Obviously, this is not a complete, concise breakdown because we don't have time to cover everything.
Right. Everything we say is what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding.
All right. So I think what we need to do, Sandy, before we do the breakdown is we need to play the trailer.
Yes.
And there's a reason why we're playing this trailer.
Pay close attention.
So this was the first trailer that we played when we first heard about the movie. Here we go.
If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today's.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm gonna show you.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world. All at once.
People keep wondering. Encountering the unknown.
They're coming! They're coming!
They are starved for the truth.
Do you think there could be others?
Why would he make such a vast universe? Yet save it only for us.
Okay. I will say real quick, whoever cut that up, the scenes up to make that trailer, kudos. And there are there's two or 3 more different trailers.
Yes, 2 more at least, I know. And then a preview clip.
Very interesting. And I will say one other thing. Several of you are commenting about watching the Timothy Alberino breakdown today, or
I watched it too.
What he said or whatever. We have as well. He was not favorable to the movie for multiple reasons. I mean, he had a strong opinion about it. He was really disgusted with all of the car chase scenes and so much time in the car.
I was too.
He said, I think he used the word boring. But he also understands this is a message movie.
Yeah, right.
That this was not going up for an Oscar, although Emily Blunt does a great job of acting
she
as
really
well
did.
as others, but she really stands out.
She was the standout. There's no doubt.
As an actress.
Yeah.
But
I think Colin Firth was pretty good too. But
Colin Firth, great bad guy.
Great bad guy.
What was his character name? Noah I can't remember the last name, but anyway, let's go. Let's get into it.
All right. So the first thing we want to talk about, and once again, one more time, spoilers coming. So you make the decision at this point forward. The interesting thing, when this trailer came out, one of the narratives that channels like ours and us as well pointed out the strange one-liner there where he says,
yes,
all 7 billion deserve to know. And we all know that at least the narrative that we're being told is there's over 8 billion people on the planet. So we started trying to do our theories about what happened to the other billion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one of the first things that we noticed in the movie is in the movie, he says 8 billion.
He does.
Same exact scene.
He does.
He says all 8 billion need to know. We looked at each other and we was like, okay. So then you start asking yourself, why has no one pointed that out? First of all. Second of all,
and it would be
was that a planned thing to try to just throw us off?
Confuse people. So it wouldn't even be as big of a deal to you and me, but we can't remember at the moment what was the other television show or Netflix series or whatever.
It was Paradise.
Was it Paradise?
I think it was Paradise. The series.
The Hulu series Paradise.
Yeah.
Also used the number 7 billion.
Yeah.
But
then you get to the movie and it's 8 billion. And one of the guys that was with us, he made a good point. He said, I believe that we're going to have a Mandela effect. He said, I predict there'll be a Mandela effect that all of us that saw the trailer and went to see the movie, it will be virtually impossible to find the trailer that says 7 billion. They're going to wipe that and they're going to say, we never said 7 billion, but you just saw it. It's on the record now, 7 billion. So that's not a big thing, but I just thought that was
an interesting thing.
It is a very interesting thing. And no one has come forth, Spielberg or anyone, and explained why they did that.
Oh, no, definitely not.
I would like someone to ask him, why did the trailer say 7 billion when you knew good and well that was going to stir up some people? Is that why you did it?
One of you has his cell phone, right? Could you get a message out?
Now, Sandy, also before we get into the breakdown of the movie too, I want to say, I want you to say how you feel. I want to say how I feel. I thought the movie was decent. I thought as a movie, just as a movie, if you were not going the way we went and way most people would go that watch this channel, it wasn't a great movie, and I would say emphatically it was not in the top tier of Steven Spielberg movies.
Definitely not. I will go ahead and say this. If you put this movie up against E.T., Independence Day, something like that, abysmal. Not failure, but it cannot compare with that kind of movie, okay?
No.
But again, he wasn't trying to do that, in my opinion. This was a message movie full of Easter eggs for those who went with a basket to retrieve them.
All right, so let's look at our notes here, and then we'll just go down the line here. So when the movie opens, we have the character Daniel. It's very interesting. It opens up with a wrestling scene and a cage. And I thought how interesting that just a couple of days later, there was a cage of the White House lawn. But he makes a backpack drop, and it hits fast. It goes fast. Immediately, the narrative is told that this is this guy, Daniel. He has stolen a bunch of mini hard drives, and we find out quickly that he stole every secret file that the government or this company, what was it called? Wardex. And Steven Spielberg said
I had written down in my notes what that stood for, but the EX was for extraction.
Yeah, it was.
And this was a private contractor that retrieved, craft, bodies, back engineered. It even used the words interrogated. The non-human intelligence. So Daniel worked at Wardex. He steals all of this. He's at this wrestling match, and that's the opening scene.
And going back to Wardex, there was a scene there too where the DOD was in a room with Wardex. So it was implying that, this is an offsite so that we can deny this, but we are still involved.
Plausible deniability.
Yes. In fact, one of them even spoke up. This was a really powerful line. One of them spoke up and said, we've got like hundreds of FBI agents that we could put on this right now to find him. And he goes, why would I want to use uninformed agents that do not know the facts when I have my own way of doing it, basically, is what he said.
Basically,
called out the FBI.
I have my own security teams and containment teams. And, quite frankly, they probably used to work for you guys.
Right.
But they work for me now.
So also what we see in that opening scene is not only does he have all these hard drives, he has what is called throughout the movie a device. There's one of 3 devices that it is implied was taken from a craft or something of that shape. And of course, when you see the aliens and we'll get to this, I don't want to get too far ahead of us, when you deal with the abduction and all that was in there, the devices that come down on their face is one of those devices. So that somehow they got 3 of those devices, and Daniel had stole one of them, and then another guy had stole another one, and then they had one left there at Wardex.
And my question about that, and it was, I don't know what you would compare it to in size, but you could hold it in your hand.
It's probably about this long.
Right.
Yeah, about this long.
And my question was, is that element 115?
Yeah, that's what Sandy was saying.
Is that Bob Lazar's
like, is that what Lazar was
element
talking
115? Because this device was used when, oh my goodness, he said 115. This device, when the power was cut in the television station, the device held in the hand.
Hey, stay online. Don't get too far ahead.
Look, I'm just going to give some examples of why I'm asking these at 115.
Okay.
When the power is cut in the television station, this device held in the hand of Emily Blunt powers back up the entire
energy force.
Television station. It also helped them to, what would you say, have abilities, paranormal abilities.
This device, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is the section that we got.
Tell everything that it can do.
So the device is central to the story. It appears to function as a key, a connector, or even a gateway. Hugo is one of the other characters that used to work at Wardex that left, and it is revealed into the movie that he had a relationship with these aliens and that he helped one of the aliens escape.
Part of his job.
It's part of his job.
This is Coleman Domingo's character. His name is Hugo.
Yeah.
You will remember him from probably The Walking Dead or whatever. I don't know what else he's done. But his part of his job at Wardex was to interface with the non-human intelligence or aliens.
All right, so let's get back to the device. It's this device, Hugo says in the movie, his purpose was, to quote from the movie, to create a passage. So it's a portal creating energy force or something that was used in there. So we see it is central throughout the movie. And if you touched it without a glove on, it would basically, one guy grabbed it and he just disappeared and he came back. So it had the ability, we know it had the ability to make things invisible.
Transport you. To
transport you. And it would astral project you into a room. The famous scene in the trailer where he says, "Have a seat, Jane."
The bad guy, Noah, used it, we believe, for remote viewing as well as astral projection.
And remember what he said too, what he would call it. He would call it to dive in. He
dove on someone.
And listen to this. He said he could not dive in on an experiencer, which was another word they never used abductee or that somebody's been abducted. They called it an experiencer. Yep. So if you'd ever had an experience with one of these beings, this device you would be restricted from being able to go and find them. So we found that later on as well.
He was restricted in a way that threw him out of his chair, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a very harsh denial, if you want to use that word.
And then, of course, early on, we were introduced to Maggie. And Maggie is the weather reporter that you saw in the trailer that starts speaking in this clicking noise. But to back up, before that ever happened, she's sitting there with her boyfriend. You think it's her husband, it's actually her boyfriend. They're sitting there and they're eating breakfast or something, talking about just regular life things. And he goes to open the window and to let some air in. And while he does, while they're talking about their future and all this, and she wants to move again, there's just sort of, you could tell that there was unsettled. Their relationship was not really like they wanted it to be. But she wanted to move again.
She was unsettled because of a traumatic event that had happened earlier in her life. You'll find out about later. Yeah. And she's always looking for something, trying to get to the place, the city, the location.
She's always saying, I can't find myself.
But I'll know, and I'll be able to be settled when I get there.
So you see her sitting there, she's eating her toast and all this, and when the window is open, that's when you see the introduction of the cardinal, the red bird cardinal comes in, and just they think it's the cutest thing, and it flies in and just lights upon the table in front of her. And while her boyfriend is just like, oh, that's amazing, she just the bliss that we talk a lot about. You see it.
She zones out.
The wind starts blowing her face. She has this bliss on her face, and that's when we find out later that the cardinal has just activated her, and that was an alien that takes on the form of animals, and we see why they did that.
And can we pause here while we're talking about cardinal? My question to you today was, could that be an underlying connection reference to a Catholic cardinal?
So. I think it's.
I'm not saying it is, but I mean, I think wordplay. We're just throwing some things around.
When you watch
here.
the movie, you would think so. Yeah.
This red cardinal. It activated her, as you said, and it had great authority in her life to, quite frankly, open a portal or unlock abilities.
Yeah.
I would even use the word latent ability.
Well, that's what they implied, that it was always there in a dormant state.
Yes.
And this bird coming in, which we found out later was actually an alien in the form of a bird, activates her these things that were put in her. Now, let's back up and just go to this, because we're in the ministry, so we cover everything from a bit. What just happened? I just started the trailer again. I thought the Word of God just activated something, but
it did.
the Bible. We look at everything from a Bible point of view, and so here's what happens. This movie, and some people are going to think I'm blowing this out of proportion, but I don't care. I'm going to speak my heart.
Yes.
I believe this movie was a very blatant attack against not just Christianity. And I'll say more a little bit later about why I believe Christianity. But this was a blatant attack against people who believe in a biblical spiritual worldview, that believe in the gifts of the Spirit, that believe in the power of God, that believe that God is still moving. Because let me tell you what got activated in her by that cardinal. A gift of prophecy, a gift of word of wisdom, a gift of word of knowledge.
Yep.
All, fake, because she comes right out of this. The bird leaves, and while she's talking, watch what happens. She begins to speak in tongues. Okay. But in another tongue, another known language, she starts speaking in Russian, and her boyfriend is just like, and she has no idea she's doing it. And he's like, whoa, stop. She's like, what? And he says, when did you learn to speak Russian? She's like, Russian? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
And she just gets out and leaves.
She looks at the clock and says, oh, I gotta go. I'm gonna be late.
So she gets in the car, still not even understanding that she spoke in Russian. She's jamming out, going down the road, speeding, trying to get to work. She gets pulled over by a cop, and the cop starts trying to tell her, you need to get out. And then you tell him what she did to the cop.
He says, give me your license and registration. And she's like, we really need to do this. I've got to be somewhere. These timelines are really, he's like, I know who you are. I know you work for the news. And I think she pauses for a second and looks at the policeman before getting out of the car and starts reading his mail.
Prophesying to him.
Telling him everything that happened at home this morning, that, you didn't mean that you regretted your wife having the baby, and, all the interaction that he'd had with his wife, because they're stressed out. They got a new baby, and all the things that are going on, just line upon line, went down what happened. And he's just standing there.
He's just like.
And then she's like, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on to work.
Thank you. Can I have my license back?
Leaves him standing. He's just standing there holding, and she just pulls it out of his hand and just takes off and
you can
goes
see him
to work.
in the distance.
And he's just still standing there. What just happened?
It's just like what it was a mimic of what happens when God speaks to you. That's what they were trying to act like.
Let's just talk about this movie. Although Timothy Alberino used the word boring, it is still pretty fast paced in how things start unfolding. So when this happens to her, she's activated. Russian with the boyfriend. He's like, what? You speak Russian? She doesn't even know she did it. Leaves, gets in the car, gets pulled over, interaction with a policeman, comes flying into the studio because she's 3 minutes. She's got to be on the air doing the weather, which is the humongous scene that everybody has seen in the trailer.
Right.
So the makeup and hair person is chasing her around the studio, trying to get her ready. Her boss is like, listen, you're never going to get out of that weather position if you keep flying into work late and da-da-da-da. And there is guests on set sitting in chairs, and they're from Korea, and they're having a little, a news piece about Korea.
Let me interrupt
we
you.
do need to say this.
The reason why he was there is that's when we're introduced to the fact that the world is getting ready to go to World War III.
On the brink.
On the brink. North Korea, Russia, and everybody is getting ready to launch nukes against America, and America's getting ready to launch nukes. So we realize in all this little giddiness, she's going in to do the weather when we're on the brink of World War III.
So the backdrop of the movie is World War III. She's flown in off the street, about to do her weather segment. They're going to do a news piece with someone from North Korea, and he's talking with one of the producers that work at the show, and they're not quite understanding each other and the meaning of different words and phrases. And she just goes over and slides into an empty chair beside him and has a Korean conversation with him. And
she has no idea she's doing it.
She has no idea she's doing it. And then she tells the producer, no, he doesn't quite understand. He's trying to explain this to you. And then her male boss is like, what? And everybody's like, you speak Korean?
She's like, what are you talking about, Korean?
What are you talking about? So then she gets up. She has to get on set. And the big scene that
even
everyone
before
has seen
that, she starts reading everybody else's mail. She tells the hairdresser, the producer guy, go call him right now and tell him, call the cops.
No, this is the girl.
The girl, yeah, she's her, and then the other guy, I don't know what he was. He starts saying, it's okay.
His son,
your son loves you. He needs you. She's just reading everybody's mail.
Every person she interacts with, she.
False gifts.
Knows what's going on in their life, what's going on in their head. It's quite frankly an empathy and empathic type of thing of giving them advice of what they need to do in that moment or what's about to happen. So she has 3 or 4 interactions, barely gets up on her platform and says, hello, Kansas City. Yeah. And then obviously the clicking starts happen and she faints right there.
She collapses right there.
She collapses.
So then we move on that back to Daniel. Daniel is telling his girlfriend.
And let's talk about the clicking possession. Would you say? When she has the clicking, would you call that full on?
Oh yeah,
possession.
It was possession. And then when you go with the clicking and the possession that you're talking about, she's speaking this and she don't know that she's doing it.
Mm-mm.
What happens then is through that clicking, we realize that that's how the Wardex identifies her, because they have that sound on file from one of the aliens, and they
call
match
it a dialect.
They match
the dialect. And also the male main character, Daniel, he doesn't see or hear this immediately. He watches it later on his phone.
And wait a minute before you say it. I want to identify what you're about to say.
Okay.
When I saw what you're about to say, I called it, this is their fake gift of interpretation.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell what happened when he saw the video.
When Daniel sees the little clip of her on his phone, he understands her in English.
Completely.
He hears in English and understands her in English when no one else can hear anything except clicking. And also,
he actually thinks she's speaking in English.
And no one else can. I don't know why this is happening at the same time, but is he standing in the field when he watches?
Yes.
And that's when
then the crop circle
takes shape right there.
So
but this is on later in the movie when he sees this.
So it's revealed throughout the movie that his narrative is he's running for his life because he has all the videos. And
his girlfriend.
Yeah, which we need to go
Jane.
there. Jane, is revealed that Jane becomes a very big part of the spiritual aspect of this.
Right.
Because we realize that Jane is a former nun in training. Okay. Now, that being said, let me go ahead and go here, Sandy. This is the first thing that I said to Sandy the Thursday night that we saw it by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the one thing I noticed, and it was so blatantly obvious, y'all, if you see the movie, whether you go to the theater, if you watch it on streaming, that's up to you whether you do that or not. We understand it if you choose not to watch it. But I thought, okay, this is a global event. All right. So stay with me, y'all. when they begin to roll out this disclosure towards the end of the movie, and you've seen the scenes, I'm not telling you things not in the trailer. Everybody's looking at their phone. Everybody's looking at the screen. They show Russians. They show every nation around the world is watching these disclosure videos going out. Well, here's one thing that I noticed. There was never a Muslim. There was never a Jew. There was never a Buddhist. There was never in the entire movie even a hint that there is even another religion that even exists other than the Catholic Church and Christianity and the Bible, this Bible, our Bible, and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was misquoted in this Bible.
Right.
And the villain takes on the role of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. They call out the Garden of Gethsemane and looks at this woman who is the former nun that's now being controlled by this device and says, what did your Lord say in the garden when he said, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me? Let me tell you, there was not another religion. And by the way, Steven Spielberg claims to be a Jewish believer. Here's the thing. Why not put a Jewish believer in there? Why not put one Muslim watching the screen? There was never even a reference to another religion. Am I right?
It's true. And I was proud of you for so very keenly picking up on that and following that narrative out, because that is what happened. That's how he chose to portray this part of the movie.
Absolutely. So let's backtrack just a little bit. Okay, so when Daniel has the files and he begins to show them to his girlfriend, it's very shocking that he shows not Roswell, but he shows Nixon taking Jackie Gleason in to see aliens. And so that's always sort of been a rumor and a conspiracy theorist. But I thought it was interesting that Spielberg chose to recreate that supposed event, and he shows his girlfriend that. She identifies Nixon, and she says, who is that with Nixon? And all she says is he was a famous star, a movie star. It doesn't say his name. And then it shows Nixon taking them in and pulling out and revealing bodies. And that's why when she says in the scene, are these human? Are these people? And he's like, no. And immediately, Sandy, at that point, what did they do? They begin to show that we, listen to me, audience, are the bad guys. Right. The videos immediately, even before we ever get to the disclosure, all we see is us torturing these beautiful, wonderful, kind beings, that we were torturing them.
Yeah, I don't know if the word interrogation was used at that point, but I think one was lying on an exam table or something, and it was clearly in distress. I don't know if they were trying to detain it, but the implication was they wanted to examine it or interrogate it or question it. And quite frankly, it was screeching and
it was
putting its hands up, if you want to call them hands.
Yeah.
And
I'm just very
making
obvious
a lot of noise,
in
pain and distress.
Yeah.
And that caused a very strong reaction from Jane. She became very upset about that. And the intention of the movie was, to make us, humans, look bad and to create empathy.
There was, correct me if I'm wrong, Sandy, there was never a moment that I remember. We saw it twice, y'all. I don't remember a moment where anyone ever even insinuated that they could do us harm. They were,
ladies and gentlemen,
they were the greatest things that ever happened.
They lightly danced. Well, I don't know if you would say lightly danced around abduction. Clearly, they were showing that Maggie, the Emily Blunt character, and Daniel, I'm sorry, I don't know his real name, were taken as children, and we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But no brutality of abduction, no probing. And here it is. No, not one mention of the hybridization program. Certainly nothing about cattle mutilation.
No.
Like he's saying, other than the fact that, quite frankly, a traumatic event had happened and that they had PTSD that they really couldn't identify until we get into this movie. No harshness, no damage, nothing mean or ill intention from the aliens.
And speaking of abductions, doesn't just imply, it says that they were the only two that's ever been taken.
That's the words Coleman Domingo used. And
you were the only two. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to insult all these people that have had, what do you call them, demonic interactions, whatever you want to call it, these thousands upon thousands of people that tell these stories. It says you were the only two.
Entire families that it started with their parents as children, and they have been abducted throughout their life. And then it passed down to the second generation and third generation.
Yeah, I like look, Marsha's got a great point. Yeah, how about that nobody addressed the fact that taking children is okay?
Exactly.
I mean, why didn't you take adults? You took children because their minds are moldable. And what they didn't just insinuate, but reveals that when they took them, they went into their eyes. That's why you see the eye all the time on the poster. And they inserted through the eye, which is the portal of the soul, is what many people believe, the abilities. Daniel had the ability to automatically, supernaturally understand math, which is called the language of the universe.
But
she had the ability to be one of us.
Don't want to get too far ahead. We're trying to go down as chronologically as we can.
Yeah.
Daniel says in the movie, he saw his red cardinal. He was activated at age 20, 18 or 20, I believe.
When he was in college.
And he had all of these math skills, and he understood that the clicking was tied to math.
Was equation, mathematical numbers.
Right. Which
is their language. The clicking was supposed to be math that they were speaking.
Yeah. All right, so let's try to get back to the timeline and the chronology of the movie.
So let's go back to Maggie. So Maggie starts, throughout the movie, you start seeing her gift is she knows where to go telepathically. She don't need a GPS. She has a built-in GPS. She just gets in the car and starts driving. She knows that she's supposed to find Daniel. She don't know where he's at. She just knows, okay, he just turned east. He just turned west.
Hugo continues to encourage her. You'll find me. You'll figure it out. You'll have an urge or a sense, and you'll know where to go.
So she ends up, through just her intuition, the power, whatever, finding her way all the way to a military base, walks in the military base. All these powerful people are trying to stop her, and she just starts reading all their mail, and she just stuns all of them.
We should back up just a little bit. When she faints on set, they take her immediately to the hospital. They start examining her. They do an MRI. There's nothing wrong that way with you. While she's in her room waiting, she can see through a glass window that her doctor is speaking to men in suits. And she immediately, the nurse comes in and says, yeah, they're from the FBI and they want to ask you some questions. And she looks at her boyfriend and says, they're not from the FBI.
Right.
And the nurse leaves. She's like, we're getting out of here. And so they basically go through a side door or whatever and escape the hospital. Well, they're on the road, and I don't know if there's a scene in the trailer where she's on the cell phone with Daniel, because she ends up calling or talking to Daniel and saying, I don't know who you are, but
they're going to kill you.
They're going to kill you.
Yeah,
of course,
don't go back in the house.
Her boyfriend is like, what? Who
You've
is
lost
this
your
Daniel?
mind.
So they pull over to a gas station.
Yeah.
And at this point, everybody is almost raiding the gas station because the whole war situation has gone up in seriousness, and they're buying all the water and they're buying all the food in the gas station. So while he goes into the gas station to get them some drinks, some water, he calls the doctor. And he says, the recap should give you anxiety.
It's giving me anxiety, and I'm doing it.
He calls the doctor inside the gas station and says, send the ambulance. She's getting worse. She's much worse than she was. Well, while he's in there, she's like, he's not on board with this.
Yeah.
She takes off in the car. So.
All right. So look, you know what I feel? I feel like some people are getting crazy out there.
Know.
Because we are just all over the place. And people are like, why would I go see the movie now? You're telling us the entire movie. So we're not going to tell them everything. Sam.
Yeah, we're not going to tell them everything.
All right. So one thing I do want to point out is when she gets to the military base, and she just walks in on them, and they've got Daniel there, and she finds Daniel. The scene in the trailer where we thought she's a shapeshifter or something, it's revealed that she has the ability not only to read your mail, but she can holograph or whatever become the person that you love and you miss the most. So the villain, the woman that you see her shift into, is actually his wife who had passed away. And she stuns him by that.
Yes.
Now, I want to fast forward to, she uses that ability to get Daniel, and they walk straight out, and no one can stop her because she's just using this ability. Well, then she gets to where Hugo is, where when she gets there, they pick her up in a fire engine because they're thinking, okay, nobody's going to stop a fire truck. So they drive this fire truck here. And when they get there, they have found out throughout the movie, you're trying to figure out why Hugo keeps having all this construction behind him. They have rebuilt a replica of her home when she was abducted to maybe try to trigger her in this. Well,
Right.
she gets out. This is the part I want to just say this and then maybe just sort of start winding this down, because I don't want to say, I don't want to break down everything we've got in these notes, because my wife is a copious note taker. But she starts reading everybody's mail right before she goes into that house. And this was one of the most biggest scenes of the movie for me, is she looks at this one woman and calls her name and says something. Well, that woman becomes enamored by Maggie. And she literally goes over to her. This is what I've always said, y'all. I've always said it's all about the Creator. It's all about taking the place of God. And when she sees her, now obviously this is a strong Catholic woman or a Catholic believer, because she walks over to her, she kneels down and looks up at Maggie, does this, the sign of the cross,
right,
and bows down and begins to worship Maggie. And Maggie comes back and screams, "No, I will not be anyone's religion."
Right.
And rebuked it at that point. But that was the moment that I realized this is not a subtle, this is a open statement to us that that Steven Spielberg and the people, the powers that be, believe wholeheartedly that when these false signs and miracles and false gifts start operating, because let me tell you something, if somebody's demon possessed, it's nothing for them to tell you what's going on, to what demon thing they did to you. They can put a sickness on you, take that sickness off of you, whatever. Jesus warned us about false signs and miracles. This is showing us in the movie that they know that many religious people will be moved by those signs, and they will. That's what Steven Spielberg himself said, that he feels like that the Christian faith, or at least he implied the Christian faith, will be challenged to find out who God is, whose God he really is. Is he only our God, or is he the God of other planets as well? And then you have the I guess you'd call her Mother Supreme. She's
not Mother Superior. She is probably like the main nun
of the
monastery. Yeah.
And she is the force that helps Jane, the former nun in training, to be at peace with herself when she calls her. Remember, she says, "What would you do if someone showed you proof that we are not alone?" She immediately knew what she was talking about, and she said, "It wouldn't bother me at all." That's when she has the famous line, "Why would he create such a vast universe and make it all just about us?" And the thing that bothered me the most about the nun character, the mother nun character, is that when at the end, when they start, and we do need to talk about the end, when they do take over the news, they make it back to the news area, and all of the files get released, and they start showing them all over the world, and they start showing the reactions. They show her, she leans her glasses down, looks at it, and she smirks with a smirk, y'all, that is like, yes, this is what I've been waiting on.
What is the line she says? Jane asked her the question, and she says something on earth, the supreme.
Oh, yeah.
How did she put it?
The question was, the statement was, that we were his prized creation, that we were created in his image, that he was our God. And she said, on earth. When your Bible talks about that he is the God and you were created in his image and you were special on earth. So the word of God was misquoted. The whole line, I'll let you go find it for yourself, but the whole line about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane was unbelievable to me.
Right.
And then he said, "I'll be that to you." Basically, I'll be here for you.
Right.
If you choose this route, you got to do the best thing.
We need to talk about a couple more things concerning Hugo. He had constructed her childhood home. Okay. So I don't know how long he'd been plotting this, but he took 12 Wardex employees with him.
Let's do this right here, and then you finish your thought.
Okay.
Mother Superior message was God is the God of humans on earth, the God of other life forms. Watch again. Yeah, I mean, I've watched it. I've seen it twice. You're right. That's what I was trying to say. But that you're exactly right. The God of humans on earth. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So Hugo brought 12 Wardex employees with him, and they were missing from work for this one day. So the bad guy Noah, he's plotting. He's like, I want to know everybody who didn't come to work today. And they've been working on this all along. And obviously he's constructed her childhood home to become a portal.
Yeah, right.
So that she could reunite with Daniel and they could come back to this house and she could go back and finally use her childhood home to unlock the parts that she had been blocking because she had been traumatized and she couldn't remember these things all her life until this time.
Yep.
So what is revealed during this part when her and Daniel take the device and they're both holding the device because it helps them to, I don't know if you say unlock these abilities or get back or go through the portal or whatever. It shows both of them as children. And I had seen someone in comments talk about the Hansel and Gretel house.
Yeah.
So during this abduction, a lot of deception was used.
Yes.
So to keep the children, I think the words to keep the children calmer.
Yep.
The aliens
Listen to this.
did appear as animals. The deer, the fox that you will see in multiple scenes in the movie, the cardinal. Was there one more animal?
And a raccoon.
A raccoon.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that she was doing in the scene of the abduction was singing and humming a Disney song. I think it's One Day My Prince Will Come.
Snow White.
The Snow White.
Yeah. Which, by the way, in the scene when she's singing that, she's surrounded by animals.
She's surrounded by animals.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's
I'm talking about the Disney movie of Snow White. Snow White. And she's
So that really was riveting to me, and I'm sure permission had to be granted to be able to use that, and so on and so forth. That was very riveting to me. So during that time is when you see the two children lying on the exam tables. The thing comes on top of their head. The alien hands come across their face. All that part. Here's another thing. So they realize Noah and all of his henchmen and security team have figured out where they are, and they're descending on this warehouse where the house has been constructed. So they use the device. You've heard about cloaking. You've heard how UFOs can cloak themselves, basically bend light around themselves. And you can be looking up, and what Bob Lazar even said, he was standing underneath a UFO, looked straight up and could see nothing because it had bent the light around itself. Well, they use the device to cloak the entire house that's been built and 2 fire trucks, and they use that to help make their escape. So they're on the run again now.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that it was very easy to miss when she was retelling when she was abducted, she says something like, when I walked through the window, I felt such peace. So basically, they took her through. She didn't climb, she didn't go through a door. They took her through.
And I'm sure a lot of you have heard people say, I floated through the wall. I floated through the ceiling. What is this? What is this? I wouldn't even call that technology.
And they said,
what do you call that?
And she said, when I was walking on the snow barefoot, it was so warm on my feet.
And
so it was all about making these aliens to be the sweetest, kindest thing ever, and to be our savior. Because think about when they showed up. They showed up when the whole world's about to go into World War III. They were eventually showed up. Now, Sandy, let's bring this ship down.
So they escape the warehouse where the fire trucks are and the house. They've got to get to the TV studio because why? The whole thing is about disclosure.
Yeah.
This whole why we're doing all that we're doing is to disclose this to the world by uploading all of these video clips, these mini drives that Daniel has stolen, get them on the air so that we can have this disclosure.
Yeah. So when they finally get there and they do that, this is the big culmination. They are able to get a hold of all the networks. They put all the videos out. They show Roswell. They show, what's the one in Pennsylvania?
Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. I thought that he could have done a lot more with that part. A lot of you know this is like a 1964, 1965 incident. A lot of people refer to this as the acorn-shaped craft that came streaking across the sky and crashed into Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. When the people in the community went up to see what was going on, the military was already there telling people to go back home and so on and so forth. But they did. There were 3 things he did, clips he showed. That was the second one. And was the third one what we believe is the Eisenhower meeting with the aliens?
It definitely implied
at the Air Force Base and making the agreement.
Yeah.
What was the first one?
The first one was Roswell.
Roswell, right.
And of course, it actually says Roswell on there, so you know what it is. So the newscaster starts getting emotional in all of this, and then all of a sudden, as Sandy said earlier in the program, they cut the power. Wardex tries to stop the power. They cut the power. They cut the generators so that they don't have ability to do it. Jane runs up and gives her the device. The device. She turns the device. She turns all the things back on through this energy that comes from it. And then the lights come on, and then the villain just takes his headset off, sits down, and he goes, "I can't stop this at this point." And then this is the crazy
the coup de grace.
The coup de grace. So listen, y'all, they wheel in this something.
We should say this. They started out broadcasting this from their local channel. Then they get on the phone to New York. They're like, "You need to pick this up." Then they get on other states and other networks. You need to pick this up. You need to pick this up. So it's going out everywhere, even all over the world. And it's showing scenes of people on buses, on the street, in restaurants, in their homes.
On the battlefield.
On the battlefield,
Soldiers.
everybody is looking at their phone, looking at their device, sitting around the television. It gives you the image that around the world at one time, we are getting worldwide disclosure.
Yeah, and then Hugo saves his best for last. He says, "Bring him in," and y'all, they wheel something in like a bag or something. And he unzips it, and you can see a silhouette of a large head. And all of a sudden, y'all, I can't even believe I'm saying this. An older, elderly, geriatric alien that's in a wheelchair that can't walk is in this enclosed environment, and this old alien gets out that Hugo had helped escape, goes over. Now, watch this. Listen to me. I've picked up on this the second time, not the first time, that I believe that Daniel and Maggie were Adam and Eve. I believe it was a mockery against Adam and Eve, and that they were meeting their creator, because what did he do? Before he ever speaks, before the alien is ever revealed, he goes to his children, basically, touches them, blesses them, but one to the other, leans in and begins to speak in the clicking noise, and Daniel hears it. Daniel turns to Maggie because she can't interpret it and tells her what he says. She stills herself, goes over to the camera,
goes back at the news desk,
grabs the mic. They zoom in on her, and everybody's waiting to see what the alien says. And y'all, we're going to say it together. This is the last line of the movie.
She leans in.
1, 2, 3.
And says, "Listen." And then that's it. Fade to black.
That's the end of the movie. You know what some people are saying? They believe he was setting up a sequel. I'm like, come on.
We should point out, I don't know that this matters, but this was a tall alien.
Yeah, this was a tall. This
what
was
would
not.
You say 7, 8, 9 feet?
Yeah, he's at least 7 feet.
All the other images of aliens or non-human intelligence were the small grays.
Small grays. There was no reptilians. There was no Nordics. No. There was no mantis. There was just the grays.
Right.
And like you said, they were all tiny except for that last one. It was very big.
Yes.
But y'all, it was a very anticlimactic ending, but it was also chilling because it was like Steven Spielberg left it open to say, try to figure out what was the rest of what we're supposed to be listening to. But I don't think it was really that. I think it was, we have something to say and you're going to hear it. And when you do, listen to what we have to say. But let me tell you something right now. That's what Jesus said. See that you be not deceived.
Yes.
For many will come in my name saying that they are the Christ, but it's a fraud. It's a fake. So y'all, this is the days of Noah that we're in. And I'm telling you, it was, I know we've been all over the place. We don't know. This is the first movie we've ever reviewed in our lives.
This is a hot mess, and we're sorry
for that. It's a hot mess.
that.
We understand that. But y'all, it was not that great of a movie. It was not a 5-star movie, nothing like that. No. It was not one of Steven Spielberg's best movie. But
not by a long shot.
For those channels that are so-called Christian channels, and I don't mean that, I shouldn't have said so-called, but Christian channels that are saying there was not really any kind of message in that, I don't know what movie they watched, because I felt like the whole movie was a message.
Yes.
An anti-Christian message.
You
I really
had
believe that.
So many different, if you want to use the word processes, you have the religion angle. You have all of these paranormal type abilities from remote viewing and astral projection and being able to make yourself appear to be someone else. If you want to use the word reading someone's mind, being able to strongly influence others to do what you want them to do. I mean, if you want to add to that list, there's just so much.
Michael, let me help you. Demons. You must be new to my channel. It's okay. It's okay. He's like, why? But we haven't really said that.
Right.
So I think we need to make it very clear. And by the way, we're not just saying they're demons. We're saying they are demonic.
Yes.
And they're fallen angel technology. They are from another dimension. We do not believe they're from another planet. We do believe that this is what Jesus was saying. I'm not going to just label them demons, because, you got to, first of all, you got to know what a demon is. And demons are disembodied spirits. But there are fallen angels. There are demonic forces involved. Yes, they are from the darkness of the world. And by the way, they are not our friends. No. And they are not here to help us.
No, they were painted in the light in this movie that they wanted you to see them.
Yeah.
But yeah, in calling them aliens, we're just trying to do a movie breakdown so that you can understand what we're talking about in the movie. But
if I had a wig that put up that big hair like the ancient alien guy, I would say, I'm not saying they're demons, but they're demons.
Right.
Does that help you? It's demonic. I'm not saying this. I should say demonic. It's demonic. Y'all, there was never a moment where anybody even questioned, why did you take children from their room? Why did you take children from their family? There was never a moment that these aliens had anything ill towards us. In fact, you heard this word over and over again, empathy. Yes. It was all about the narrative that you have to follow their example of kindness if we're going to save the world.
So at the end, when Hugo wheels in the tall alien, he had told his boss, the mean guy, the bad guy, Noah, that the alien had escaped. But clearly he had taken the alien off site and been having communication with him the entire time and taking care of him the entire time. So you've got that weird relationship going on, but it's always good and positive with the aliens and about the aliens, and they're going to help us, and there's so much to be learned and gleaned from through our relationship. Deception.
All right, so let me just tell you a couple quick things before we go. Number one, be looking for our, I'll have my normal Bible study Wednesday night, and it's going to be a very powerful teaching on understanding the difference between purpose, vision, and destiny. But then Thursday night, y'all, we've got the man, Joe Horn, son of the late Tom Horn. It is going to be a tremendous show. We talk about his father, who was way ahead of everyone else in this narrative. Y'all, if he was alive today, one of the things, I'll give you a preview that he said, I asked Joe, I said, if your father, Tom, was alive right now in all of this rollout disclosure, what would he say? And y'all, it was so moving. He said, my father, you have to know this about my father. He said, he wouldn't really be talking about it because my father was always 10 to 15 years ahead and said it would all that what's going on now would be nothing to him. He would be telling us of what's coming out of this.
I think so.
And I thought, wow, that's number one. And then number two, pray for us. Sandy and I are going to Nashville, and I will be in studio. If you follow Blurry Creatures, I'm going to be in studio with Blurry Creatures, going to be doing an interview on that. I don't know when it will drop. I'll let you know when it airs. But I'm very excited and very honored to be in the Blurry Creatures studio. And if you don't follow them, go check them out. They're an incredible channel that are two men of God that deal with issues like this. And to be able to go on their program, I'm just so honored. So closing thoughts, Sandy, on Disclosure Day, the movie, in our chaotic movie review. I don't know if we'll ever do another movie review. Y'all let us know if we should or not.
If we do,
be nice.
I'm in charge.
What?
Look, I don't know if this helped you at all. If you've not already gone to see the movie, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I think that it was just another stepping stone in our disclosure saga that we're all living through and seem to have a front row seat to. I haven't even begun to get into this latest release of files and documents that we just had.
Right.
But, look, you know what's going on. Whether you don't need to see the movie. Whether you see the movie or not, you've got a gist of what the movie was even created for. And we know our mission here, right?
Yes, come on.
We are doing this together. Come on. This is big picture family.
Yes. It's awesome. Awesome. All right. So we're going to let you go. And, we like to always announce this when it's time because we get excited. Grandbabies are coming tonight. So we're going to go have a downtime with our grandbabies tonight. So everybody be blessed tonight, no matter what's going on in the world. I don't care what Washington says. I don't care what Hollywood says. Steven Spielberg said, they can roll out a geriatric alien on a wheelchair and try to tell us to listen. We ain't listening. We ain't listening to that. No, because we listen to God and to the word of God, and we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
Help us build the Big Picture family. We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. Go to LarryRagland.com to give a one-time gift or become a monthly partner. Any amount blesses the entire Big Picture family. While you're there, pick up our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect on social media, and get on the Big Picture mailing list at LarryRagland.com. Join us and be a part of the Big Picture family, where we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.